Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sitting down with an agent who's mixing real estate with music and AI to create one of the most modern business models in the industry. If you've been curious how to blend tech with authentic connection, you're going to love this one. I am talking with the awesome Adam Gillespie. My guest today is Adam Gillespie. Based in Denver, Adam has built a successful real estate business for over the past 7 years, closing deals across the metro area while also coaching agents on how to master AI and CRM systems, including myself. And he's known as the No BS Realtor with a musician's edge. Adam is bringing a fresh perspective to what it means to grow in real estate today. Adam, I am so grateful that you are here today. Thank you so much.
What's up, dude? Absolutely pumped to be on here.
Yay, I'm so excited. So before you were in music, how did that performance mindset shape the way that you approach business today?
Yeah, so when we started our band, it was way back in the day, 2004, and it's the same as real estate. It really is. I mean, you just have to recycle music with real estate. So our main job was to market ourselves, right? We had to get people to figure out who we were, and lucky for us, there is a little website out there called MySpace, and it was
For those of you that might remember.
yeah, right. For those of you that are old enough to remember, we had this thing called MySpace, which is way cooler than Facebook, in my opinion. But yeah, basically what we did is we built a bot back in the day that would auto post our band's music onto famous people's pages. And for those of you that don't know MySpace, we had these comment sections on there. And you could just go in there and comment on anybody's page, basically. So
Oh my gosh, I'm aged.
so we would auto post this on there and it would have an autoplay feature. So then our music would just rack up all of these plays on it. And then when you would go to our profile, you would be able to see how many people were listening to our music. So we'd get like thousands of plays all the time on it. And we were able to leverage that with the local venues to say, hey, look, people actually listen to us. So we had this thing called an EPK, AKA an electronic press kit, or what we would call in real estate, like, our I don't know what we really call it, but it's kind of like our resume in a way, our buyer's guides. Let's call it the buyer's guides, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of what we did, and we just do this over and over, and then we started building a following. So when I got into real estate, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like really, really similar to being a professional musician, because usually we're at home, and when we're at home, we're trying to market ourselves. So we're out there doing social media, and we're out here doing all this other stuff. And then a show was just like getting a client and going and closing a deal, right? So it was very similar in that aspect, and I just kind of ran with it. So that's pretty much my whole business model.
I love that. I love that. And it's so funny because I think about MySpace. It's like that for us was so innovative and
Yeah.
like big, it's like the next best thing after the internet came out.
It was, dude. And the wild thing was is they had us like coding.
I was just gonna say that. I know nothing about tech, but my page was fire for sure.
All these glitter and sparkles
It
everywhere.
would take 20 minutes to load, but yeah.
Yeah, the long load times.
Oh my
It was epic. I wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah.
It's so much better than Facebook.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the customizations and you can really make it yours. I agree. It was so great. I would definitely use MySpace again if it was an option.
Heck yeah, dude.
So you've been in real estate now for over 7 years and you've been helping your clients across Denver. But what's been the key to staying consistent and growing in such a competitive market where you are?
I struggled when I first started. It took me 7 months to get my first deal. I really didn't have a sphere because I had this reputation in, like, I was bad in school. I dropped out of high school in 10th grade. So I was never really seen as a successful person. I was seen as a successful musician. But when you try to get people to stop looking at you as a musician and start looking at you as a professional in the real estate industry, where they're going to be using you to facilitate the largest purchase of their life, like, my friends were not into it. Not only that, but a lot of my friends weren't capable of doing this.
Yeah.
So I had to go out and figure it out my own way, and I made a lot of mistakes down the road along the way doing it. You can laugh. You can actually go if you look at my EXP profile. There's a picture of me there that you will not recognize me, but I thought that I needed to wear a suit, and I just basically turned into something that I totally wasn't to try to do real estate because I wanted to adhere to the standards of real estate. And this was very difficult. It wasn't me. And I think that now looking back, hindsight's 2020, people could see right through that.
Yeah.
So when I started to gain traction was when I just decided, you know what, I'm going to take the suit off. I'm going to wear t-shirts and jeans. And, a lot of times I just wear workout pants. Like this is what I'm in right now. And I grew my beard back out. I tried to have my hair grow back back when I first started real estate. And dude, I started losing my hair when I was like 30. And
Oh.
so I had this like cul-de-sac hairdo and I just didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And once I gave up on that and I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to be me. I am a no BS kind of guy. I probably will drop F-bombs during our meetings and stuff like that. It like turned on like a light switch. So the leads that I was getting and most of the time I would get leads through online ads. So I'd run like Facebook ads and stuff like that. For a brief moment, I was on a Zillow team. But even on the Zillow team, it still worked for me just to be me. People really liked the fact that I wasn't trying to be something that I wasn't, and that they felt more like I was actually an advisor and a consultant versus somebody trying to sell them a house.
Oh, yeah.
So I just kept doing that all the time. And one of the big things that I was very consistent on was my CRM. So
Yeah.
I would get leads in and I would sit here and spend all this time writing all these email campaigns out and auto text campaigns, which now we have AI do it for us. So it's a lot easier. But I did that and I just remained consistent with it. And it's always done pretty good. But like I said, that first 7 months was really rough, dude.
Yeah, I think that's so great because like that's what we talk about in the Wolfpack as one of like branding isn't so much your colors and your font, it's you as a person, and it's
Yeah.
easier to attract people who are like you, which makes it easier to do business with people who are like you. And so I love that. I think that's so great because I struggled with that for a little while too. Now I've kind of find my own thing, but I go back and forth between like a nice blouse and a concert t-shirt. So
Yeah, dude. That's
yeah.
what's up. My favorite saying in real estate is your vibe will attract your tribe. Pretty sure I got that from Tom Ferry. But it's true. Your vibe will attract your tribe, especially if you're out there doing online marketing.
Yeah.
So my ads will be ran with my personality in them. So it's very clear who they're working with. And it's wild that a lot of my clients are like me. I specialize with first time home buyers. I love first time home buyers because I like to educate and inform. That's why I coach, right? I love to help people learn things. And first time homebuyers seem to be the most receptive to learning the process, right? They
Oh
don't
yeah.
know what they're doing. They're like, Adam, I don't know. Just tell me what to do. And it's like, all right, perfect. Let's rock. So I
Yeah.
specialize with first time homebuyers. Most of my clients are blue collar workers buying their first homes. And they love that. Like when I show up in a t-shirt, usually I might have like a Slipknot shirt on or something like that. Now they're always AI shirts, but I would show up in a rock and roll shirt and I drop an F-bomb within the first 5 minutes of meeting them. And it's really funny because a lot of people watching this right now and some traditional real estate brokers will be like, no, that's such bad business. But
Mhm.
I've never, ever had a single client tell me that they felt uncomfortable with it. As a
Right.
matter of fact, the exact opposite happens. Now, I'm not telling if you cussing ain't your thing, then don't do it. But
Right.
like it's me, it's my vibe, it's my personality. And I would drop that first F bomb and it might like a light switch, my client's persona would change. It was almost like
Yeah.
we went from, is Adam trying to sell me a house to, oh, this dude's like, we could be friends. And,
Yeah.
I am usually friends with most of my past clients now. Like we go catch shows together and stuff like that. And I really attribute that to just being my authentic self. Gary Vaynerchuk famously said, "I'm fully what is his exact quote? He says, I'm fully willing to accept the ramifications for being my true authentic self." And
Yeah.
that's the way I live, dude. I'm like, you're gonna get me no matter what. You don't get a corporate version of me. You don't get a sugar coated watered down version of me. You get the raw, unfiltered Adam Gillespie, and it's done very well for me in my business.
I love that. I love that. And so, leading into that, you have branded yourself as the No BS Realtor.
Yep.
What exactly does that mean to you, and how does it resonate with your clients or audience?
Yeah, so realtors have a very bad reputation, right?
Mhm.
When I bought my first house, I fired my realtor and then I bought it on my own because I was like, anybody in the world can do a better job than this person just did for me. And there was so much BS involved in this process. You know, walking into a house, and I know this house is a dump. I come from the construction background, right? Like when I dropped out of high school, I went immediately into construction. My father did construction, so I know this. And we'd walk into these junky ass houses, and they'd be like, "Oh, look at how beautiful this foyer is, and don't you love the countertops?" And I'm like, oh, give me a break, dude. Like this is not at all what I'm looking for. Or they try to show me something I didn't want. So
Yeah.
when I decided to get into real estate, my big thing was like, I'm not going to sell anybody anything. As a matter of fact, I hate salesmen. I
Yeah.
absolutely despise them. I'm the last guy you want to knock on my door to because I'm not usually very nice about it. I'm like the old grumpy guy now. But like, so I would go in and I would just basically promise these people like, hey, like my job is just to advise and consult you. The house is going to sell itself. So I'm not going to come into this house and tell you how nice the walls look and oh, look at this countertop. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to tell you the real raw details. And 9 times out of 10, what I would do is I would go straight to the mechanical closet. I want to look at that furnace. I want to see anything that I can see behind the walls because a lot of these basements would be unfinished. So I want to look at the electricity on it. We're showing an older house. Like, is this old knob and tube wiring? Are we up to Romex? So I go into that mechanical aspect. And what that shows my buyers is that, oh, this guy's actually caring, you know, because my big thing is it's like, why try to convince you to buy a house and then put you under contract just for the inspector to shred it? Right.
Yeah.
So I go down, I look at that furnace. I don't touch it because we're not supposed to touch it. Right. But you can tell by the way a furnace looks, if it's all squared and round and huge, it's probably old. It's probably not going
Yeah.
to be a high efficiency furnace. So I would tell them about that. I'd look at the date on the water heater and be like, hey, this water heater's from 2006 and it's 2020. So like, probably going to need a new water heater. Here's what it's going to cost. But I'm not afraid to just tear into a house, you know, and I always tell my clients, like, hey, be honest with me too. Like, if I take you into a house and you don't like it, tell me because it's not my listing. I don't care. Right. And
Yeah.
even if it was my listing, I'd want to know, and I probably already do. And I had this conversation with the seller, but that's my whole key is I'm not here to sell you anything. My job is to be your advisor and consultant. So that way you can make decisions that you're comfortable with. And that right there, just absolutely like people love it. They don't ever feel sold to.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like it's not just setting the expectation of what might come, but I think I don't know how many times I've tried to prep a buyer for the inspection list. Like you're getting ready to get a 40 page, it doesn't mean that the house is in shambles. I would tell them
Hmm.
the inspectors there to tell you what's wrong with the house, not what's right. So I think it's great that you do that. And I do think that it's needed for clients and that way they know kind of going into it what's going to happen next.
Yep.
Now, I want to touch base on your company because you started your own company and your own coaching. So you're coaching agents on AI and CRM systems, which has completely made a huge difference in my business. But what made you step into that lane and how are you helping realtors scale through tech?
Yeah. So this is going to be a long-winded response. Just brace yourself. But I always realized that my CRM was going to be the lifeblood of my business. And I went through a lot of brokerages before I found the Wolfpack because brokerages kept trying to tell me to be something different, right?
Yeah.
Adam, shave your beard. Do you have to say the F word all the time? Like, you know, wear a suit, all this kind of stuff. And I always felt like I got into this business to be my own business, right? So I didn't like that. So I did 10 brokerages since 2017. I found the Wolfpack in March of 2023. Then that was when I actually realized I found my home. I found my people because not one day in the whole time I've been there has anybody told me to change anything about me. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, it's the exact opposite. They're like, Adam, you're so unique. You have so much value. Like, you need to run with this. So the way that I ended up getting into the coaching space was because of the Wolfpack. We were actually sitting at EXPCon in 2023. And you know, we were listening to a pitch on stage about AI, and Louis Galt, one of my best friends over here, basically elbows me, and he's like, "Dude, like you know a lot more about AI than what's going on stage right now, and I think you got something. And it was just kind of it started out as a conversation, but then after talking with Mike, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, like you should probably build a course and then start helping agents out." And I never thought I'd be in a position like this because I'm a high school dropout, right? Who am I going to
Right.
teach anything? I felt good teaching first time home buyers about how to buy a home because I have that construction background and stuff, but I never thought about teaching agents. And then when Louie and Mike and Jeremy all kind of brought that into play, I realized like, holy crap, like this is what I was meant to do. Like I was meant to help agents. So it all kind of started back in 2022, November. ChatGPT 3.5 came out, and I originally thought it was going to be like this Google. Like I was like, oh, this is going to be a
Yeah.
new way to search the internet. Instead of having to click through a bunch of links, I can get it summarized. But I realized really quickly while doing that, I was like, oh, this is literally the most intelligent thing that humans have ever been able to place their hands on. We have the entire knowledge of the internet in its whole inside this little tiny robot that fits on my phone, that's on my computer. So I just started thinking, what can I do with this inside my business to make my business more efficient? And, it started with cloning myself. So I was like, and I know that sounds kind of weird to people who aren't into AI, but all I basically did was teach it everything about my business. It actually helped me brand myself. So I'm like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to brand myself. Here's what I'm into. Here's what I like. And it's like, hey, roll with this, you know, so I did that. And then I was like, well, maybe I can duplicate my speaking style as well. So then I transcribed a bunch of, videos of me talking unscripted and put that into a file and brought that in. And now I have a robot that knows basically everything about me and what I want to do with my business. And it talks like me. So I started to teach other agents how to do this. And then it started to become very, very clear that we could save a ton of time on this. So I tell everybody, like, if you use AI properly in your business, the number one side effect to that is going to be compounded time savings. So with Louis and Mike's help, I basically built this course called Agent Prompt University and started it as just a course. Realized that that was just the surface of it, that there's more I can do. So I started hosting mastermind calls, built a community around it, started giving away all of my CRM training because that's another thing I realized is that barely any agents are using a CRM, and the ones that do weren't really using it to its full potential. So I just
Right.
started teaching everybody everything that I've done in my business to, become successful at what I do. And it's honestly the coolest thing ever. So now I have this company called Apex Elite AI, and I teach realtors how to properly utilize AI in an ethical way and proper implementation of their CRMs.
Yeah, I haven't even dove into everything that you teach, and but just what I've been able to touch on, I absolutely love. Like it's streamlined so much of my business in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So highly recommend.
Thanks,
Now,
dude.
kind of like touching on that as well. A lot of agents do get overwhelmed with tools and apps. So, what's one underused tech tool or CRM feature that you think could make an immediate impact for them?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is obviously the most popular is going to be large language models like ChatGPT or Gemini, right? Like this is the way for you to be able to seek as much consultative advice that you could possibly imagine. I tell all of my clients to imagine that you have the world's, most knowledgeable consultant right at your fingertips. So whether you're planning for your business, whether you're planning a new project, whether you want to brand yourself, whether you're working on marketing tools, or even just responding to an email, this
Yeah.
has the ability to not only give you tailored advice based on your specific situation, but at the same time, it's going to chop that time that it would take you to normally do these tasks like in more than half, right?
Yeah.
Most of these things that I used to do, like when it comes to the CRM, I would spend weeks creating out these long-term nurture drip campaigns. And now I build them in less than an hour. So you
Mhm.
could only imagine like what happens when we start deploying this in other areas of our business too, where spending 10 minutes writing a long-winded email to a buyer explaining that inspection, and now I just upload the inspection inside of ChatGPT. We find out all the key points on it. It writes the email, everything. I can do an inspection report in less than 20 minutes, like
Absolutely.
super easy. So
Super easy.
yeah, and then when it comes to CRMs, it's just utilizing the automations that are already there for it. Why
Yeah.
send an email manually? Why send a text manually when we could build the system up in the back end and put it on an automation to where it automatically happens for us?
Yeah, you've been great at teaching that. Anybody interested should go watch his YouTube channel on Lofty, especially. That's what I am now using, and it's helped me. And a lot of my organization watches your stuff as well. So that been super helpful. Now, how has EXP and the Wolfpack given you the platform to merge real estate production with coaching and system training?
Yeah, so the coolest thing that I like about well, first and foremost, brutally honest, I didn't really join EXP. Now, this isn't a negative shot at EXP, but when I was onboarding, I was at a brokerage here in Colorado. It was a smaller like boutique brokerage, and I was basically revamping their entire inside sales department. So I brought them onto a new CRM. We revamped all of their scripting and all of this other stuff, and one day he comes out of the office and say, "Hey guys, now we're EXP." And I was like, "What is this EXP thing?" And it was really not presented very well. So long story short, I left. And then
Okay.
it was around February 2023. I was wanting to revamp some of my Facebook ads. I ended up on Mike Sherrard's channel on YouTube. He had a step by step, like how to set this Facebook ad up to get leads like for $6 or whatever. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to try this. So I did, and it worked. So that was like the first moment where I was like, this is dope. So I
Yeah.
started watching his channel, and then I was going to buy the Social Agent Academy because I knew at that point in time too that not only is advertising on Facebook, absolutely just a killer way to generate business, but being present in social media is key. And it's so much, while it's very similar to being in a band, like I was comfortable playing my guitar online, but I wasn't comfortable talking about buyer and seller experiences in front of a camera. So I
Right.
wanted to buy into this program, the Social Agent Academy. And I was literally sitting in my office, broke as hell. And I was at Home Smart. So that was 100% commission brokerage with a very low monthly fee. It was like $24. You guys, if you're thinking about doing that, that just breeds laziness, right? My whole thought process was like, well, now that I'm not on a Zillow team, I only have to do 1 to 2 deals, and that can make as much as the 5 deals that I was doing before, So it kind of bred laziness. So I ended up coming into a pretty rough spot in my career. So I was going to buy this Social Agent Academy. I had my credit card out, and I was like, do I have the money to do this right now? And thank God I didn't swipe my card that day. I decided to sleep on it, and then I woke up the next morning and I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch more of his videos and just see like if there's another solution here. And I ended up on a collaboration call, kind of like what we're doing here. And this little banner came across the bottom of the screen. And it was like, hey, you can get the Social Agent Academy and more and one-on-one mentorship with Mike Sherrard for free. Click this link in the description to book a call. So I clicked the link in the description. I booked the call. Sure as hell, Mike Sherrard was actually on that call. It was just me and him. And he was like, yeah, why don't you join me at the Wolfpack and you can get all this stuff for free. By the way, it's at EXP. And I was all, oh no. But the way that he explained it was way
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Like it was like, Adam, EXP will let you keep your brand. Right. So instead of me having to adhere to these corporate branding guidelines, I could be my own individual self. And it also seemed like he actually genuinely wanted me on the team. So I went ahead and signed up. I was like, you know what? I got nothing to lose at this point, and I can do this for free instead of spending $1,000. So I did it, and it was honestly the best decision that I've ever made in my entire career and my life, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best friends at this point. My friends were very not so into me being an entrepreneur. I think they still wanted me to just do the music and kind of ride that wave of not being very successful. No offense to my buddies or nothing like that, but I joined EXP and I was able to keep my brand or create a brand inside of that.
Yeah.
Loved EXP for that. Found out about Willaboo. I found out about Willaboo. I did it again. Willable rev share because I got kids,
Yeah.
So my whole goal and the reason that I'm not a touring musician anymore is because I wanted to
Yeah.
be able to provide for my family. So the idea of me being able to have my kids take over my company someday was something that was really important to me. So when I found out about the possibilities to have an actual exit strategy through EXP, that was a huge lure to bring me in. And then I met everybody else in the Wolfpack, and that was the thing. So, like I said, I joined the Wolfpack. They just happened to be associated with EXP,
Yeah.
which is now the perfect combination and made it perfect. But, I met Louie and I met Jeremy, and they happened to be in my local area, and, Mike and Connor and you, and like everybody in the Wolfpack just always just welcomed me with open arms. And now I have an entire new circle of friends. And these are people who help lift me up, like especially JK. Jeremy will be on my
Oh,
ass if he
Jeremy's,
finds me
yeah, he's
slipping,
so
dude. He's
great.
like, "What are you doing?" So it's great, man. It changed my life for the absolute better. And I think that it's possible for other people to do this too. So it was just one of those things where I was searching for so long. I was even praying for it. I'm like, God, dude, like I need to find a new group of people. I need to find my way through this. I have no choice. I have to do real estate. I'm a 10th grade dropout, right? I have no college education. I have no GED. I didn't do construction for a really long time. The only other thing I ever did was work in a call center. So it's
Right.
like, all right, dude, how do you want to make 18 bucks an hour or do you want to make 18 grand a month? Right?
Yeah.
Or more. So
Or
I decided to go into real estate. So I've always had this perspective that it's like, this is it, dude, ride or die real estate. I have to make it work. And thank God I found the Wolfpack because now my life is where I want it to be and it's
yeah.
growing dramatically. And I've got this whole team of people behind me that are supporting me on the journey. And they call me out on my BS when I got it. So
Yeah, and I absolutely love the Wolfpack. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I'm sure there are people out there who are sick of me
they're like,
talking
enough.
about it. But you don't know unless you're in. Like
Mhm.
so for a long time, because I'm in Tucson, I was the only Wolfpack member in Tucson
Oh, wow.
for 3 years, 3.5 years. Now we have a couple more now, but this is still the only place where I have felt like I belong, even though
Yeah.
I don't have an office that I go to. I am not on a team, right? Like it's our community, our organization, but it's not a team. And so it's been I just feel so at home here because if I
100%.
need support, people like you, people like Jeremy, Suman, Connor, everybody's so willing to help. And it's just a text or a phone call away, a Zoom call.
Yeah.
So I love that it's been so beneficial for you as well, because I feel the exact same way. Like our community is just untouched. Like
Bar none, dude.
nobody does it like this. So,
Yeah. And if
um,
anybody would know, I have to say it's me, dude. I like there's not many, there's our realtors out here who have been to more brokerages, but dude, 10 brokerages in 8.5 years, like that's a lot of switching around. And I'm telling you, like I've been through, I won't name any of the brokerages that I was with because I'm not here to badmouth anybody, but nobody was ever really willing to help this person. I had nobody in real estate that I knew. Right? Like the only realtor that I had contact with, I fired when I bought my first house. So like I didn't know what I was doing and I felt like I was on Lonely Island for all these years. And
yeah,
then when I found the Wolfpack, it was like God just answered my prayers, dude. It was like, boom, this is it. Here's your crew. Here's everything. And it's possible, man.
absolutely, absolutely.
There's so,
We love you. So I think
thanks, dude.
on behalf of all of the Wolfpack. But yeah, no, it's definitely untouched. Like you can't find anything like it. And that's what I mean. Like I'm super hyper local, and I was never able to find not even just support, but just like the connections and the networking.
Yeah.
But so that being said, looking forward, where do you see AI automations taking the real estate industry over the next few years, and how do you think agents should prepare for that?
Yeah, so AI is here to stay. Like it's not a fad, it's not a phase. I do not believe it's going to replace real estate agents anytime soon. Will it someday? I mean, that's all speculative at this point. Is it going to take jobs away from people? Mostly in the tech sector. We see it right now with coders and stuff like that, where AI can code at a dramatically faster speed. But even in
Yeah.
some of these, these technical sectors with these coders, they're still there to oversee. So the way I see it happening in real estate, because we are still a very subjective industry, right? Think about property valuations. Look at what Zillow did a couple of years ago, right? They got into a lot of hot water because of their estimates being so far off, and they were using artificial intelligence to come up with those numbers, and it's just not there. There's so much human level subjectivity inside of this, where the same finishes in Colorado aren't the same finishes in Kansas. Even even though
Right.
they may look the same, the cost can be different, right? So the way that I see AI is in an augmented relationship with real estate agents. If you don't use it, you're going to work twice as hard, 10 times as hard, and you're going to get left behind because the ones that do implement this, like right now, I operate my real estate business and it's like there's 5 to 10 of me, like no
Yeah.
joke. Like I can do so much more work in such little time. And not only that, but when I'm running ads, these ads are highly effective because guess what? ChatGPT and Gemini and all these other large language models are trained on the internet. And now we're going into agentic AI, where the AI can do more than just respond to a query that we ask it. It can actually go scour through Facebook ads library, find the highest performing ads. Then it can take a left-hand turn and go down the internet and look up all of the spam language that'll get your emails landing in spam or promotions folder. And we can create campaigns around this. So in the next couple of years, very quickly, actually, I can see that we would be able to deploy AI agents into our business to actually take on the role of what a human would normally need to do, which frees us up to build better relationships with our clients, be there for our clients more often. And for me, my big thing is I want to spend time with my family. I don't want my kids to grow up right underneath my nose because I'm stuck sitting here reviewing inspection reports and handling all of this mundane administrative work that we have to deal with in real estate. So I
Yeah.
think it's a great thing to happen to us in real estate. So don't believe the hype and the fluff that's all going out there. It's all corporate level BS, dude. Like it's a wonderful thing. Adapt to it or you're going to get unfortunately crushed by people who are using it.
Yeah. We either evolve or we go extinct. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, last question, bonus question. If you could give agents one mindset shift about embracing technology without losing authenticity, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. So one piece of advice by utilizing technology, I would do if you have not touched AI yet, go into AI and you need to just basically tell it that you're a real estate agent and this is your business and that it needs to consult with you, act as, so we give it a role, right? Say you're going to act as a high level expert business consultant and you're going to help I want you to understand every single thing about my business and I want you to question me on every aspect of what it would take to be a successful business or for you to understand my entire business. Because if you can train AI to know exactly what it is that you're trying to do in your business. So for example, I love first time home buyers. I like helping blue collar workers. I like helping people that used to be like me, right? They know they want to buy a house someday, but they don't know how to go out about doing it. And they might not even think they can do it because they don't have a high paying job, right? So you educate the robot and train it on that and have it speak like you, and you're going to have an unstoppable machine that can absolutely change the amount of time that you have to put into administrative activities, and more importantly, get your personality out there in a much more efficient way than to sit there and try to write it all out. It's the best thing in the world as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, that's so great. I think that's so helpful. And hopefully that, even if that helps one person after this call, I mean, it's
That's all that
definitely,
matters.
yeah, definitely. Well, Adam, I want to thank you for showing us how to keep it real while
Thanks,
embracing
dude.
the future of real estate, because your story proves that you can mix creativity, authenticity, and tech to build a business that lasts. And
Awesome.
for those of you watching, drop your favorite takeaway in the comments, hit the like button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more success stories like Adam's. And if you're ready to plug into the systems, mentorship, and Wolfpack community that Adam and I use to grow, click the link in the description to book a private call with us. Let's start mapping out how you can simplify your business, scale with tech, and keep your authenticity at center. And for those of you who want to follow along with Adam, I'm going to link his profile. I'm going to link his profile contacts below, and you can follow him as well and learn all the things that he teaches. So thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate you so much for being here.
Thanks, dude. I was super happy to be on, and let's do it again.
Awesome. Thanks.